Part 22. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 211. Ye Chen had seen this truck when he came out. It was still there, empty for a day, and the owner didn't know where he had gone. That's it. Ye Chen didn't want to involve other people, so the truck without anyone in it was the best choice. Ye Chen told the driver the detailed coordinates of the villa, then found an excuse to get off the car and watched the car go away. Slowly moving forward, he heard the sound of a car speeding from behind. Ye Chen turned his head and found a black car rushing towards him. This time, because he was prepared, he rolled to the side and avoided the collision of the black car. At the same time, Xiaohei rushed out of Ye Chen's body and rushed over with his teeth bared. Gao Ming roared in the car and punched the steering wheel in anger. Continuous failures made Gao Ming furious, but he had already started to kill, and this time he couldn't stop. He braked suddenly and turned around, ready to hit it again, but suddenly, his car door was opened. Gao Ming was stunned. He didn't open the car door. Could it be that the wind blew it open? After a second of hesitation, he felt a strong force pulling him, causing his body to fly out of the car uncontrollably. Bang! Gao Ming was knocked unconscious, and finally came to his senses, but Ye Chen rushed over and punched him in the face. Gao Ming was stunned by the beating, and then he became furious. Ye Chen, you are a loser, how dare you hit me? Haha, not just hitting, you have tried to kill me many times. Do you think you can go back alive today? Ye Chen sneered, his face cold and without a trace of emotion. Looking at Ye Chen's appearance, Gao Ming suddenly panicked. Are you crazy? You want to kill me? Killing someone means paying with your life, do you know? Ye Chen was unmoved and slapped him on the left cheek again. Ye Chen. No. Big brother, dad, grandpa, please don't kill me. Gao Ming was really scared, tears and snot all flowed, and he knelt on the ground and hugged Ye Chen's thighs and cried. It was not until now that he realized that life was so precious. If it was before, Ye Chen might still be soft-hearted, but now he has seen Gao Ming's character clearly. Now if he doesn't kill him, he will think that he will die. At that moment, Ye Chen and Xiaohei worked together and slashed Gao Ming with a knife and knocked him unconscious. Then, Gao Ming was stuffed into the car, and Xiaohei also sat in. Beiji. Ye Chen took out a cigarette and lit it, waved his hand, and Xiaohei understood and started the car, turned a corner, let Gao Ming's foot press the accelerator, and crashed into the truck. The black car drove faster and faster, and finally with a boom sound, it had a close contact with the truck. The doors of the two cars exploded, countless glass fragments were blown away, Gao Ming was shaken out and hung on the truck. His death was horrible. Ye Chen looked at it and didn't look at it anymore, turned around and left. And Xiaohei was still 10 meters in front of him. Although it had just driven, it was only 10 meters away from Ye Chen at most, so the car flew out in the end, and it was left there. Ye Chen walked over and patted its shoulder, and Xiaohei also patted his shoulder, making him laugh and cry. Ye Chen didn't take another car, and didn't walk back to the big villa until the evening. Just in time for dinner, Ye Chen raised his glass to introduce Yun Jian'er to everyone, and everyone congratulated him immediately. Shen Kaijin looked abandoned. Husband, it turns out that you have a girlfriend, and you cheated on her feelings. Hearing this, Yun Jian'er's eyes immediately condensed, and Ye Chen was startled and hurried to explain. After the joke, the atmosphere became harmonious and everyone ate happily, except Xiaoro who looked unhappy. After dinner, everyone played games, while Ye Chen accompanied Yun Jian'er for a walk on the beach. Under the bright moonlight, the deep blue sea sparkled, and Ye Chen and Yun Jian'er walked slowly on the beach hand in hand. The environment here is so good, I really want to stay here for a few more days. Yun Jian'er stood on tiptoe, looked up and secretly kissed Ye Chen's cheek. You will live here in the future, as many days as you want, Ye Chen said. Hearing this, Yun Qian'er suddenly became embarrassed, lowered her head and pulled Ye Chen's clothes. Ye Chen, my dream since childhood is to study design. Yesterday I finally received an invitation from a famous American design school. Is that so? Then Go Ye Chen laughed and said, I heard from others that a man who can help his woman realize her dream is a good man. Hey, although I can't help you realize your dream, at least I won't stop you. But I'm going there for 4 years. Now transportation is so convenient, the plane arrives in 1 day. If you miss me, leave me a message and I'll fly over to see you right away, Ye Chen laughed. Okay, so you want me to leave so much? If I leave, you can flirt with other girls everywhere, right? It's unfair. The next day, Ye Chen got up early and sent Yun Qian'er to the airport. When Yun Qian'er boarded the plane, Ye Chen's expression was instantly lonely, and his heart was empty. Of course he was reluctant, but if he showed it, Yun Qian'er might not pursue her dream. Ye Chen felt that he couldn't be so selfish. Outside the airport, Ye Chen and other unfamiliar visitors watched as the plane taxied for a distance, raising a cloud of white smoke and flew into the sky. Ye Chen sighed and walked out of the crowd. Not far away, he ran into Yun Haitian. Yun Haitian handed Ye Chen a cigarette. Ye Chen, now I know why Qian likes you. To be honest, if I were a woman, I would probably be fascinated by you. Don't do that. I don't have such a strong taste as you. Ye Chen put the cigarette in his mouth and took out a lighter to light Yun Haitian. The old and the young walked side by side and talked a lot along the way. The relationship between the two sides was not as awkward as before. Ye Chen, at the end of this year, you bring Qian back, and then bring your parents over, and everyone will have a good New Year's Eve dinner at the intersection. Yun Haitian patted Ye Chen on the shoulder and took a taxi away. Ye Chen smiled, took a big puff of the cigarette, then walked to the trash can to put it out, and also took a taxi back. On the way, Ye Chen's mood slowly calmed down, and the radio in the car also sounded. About Gao Ming's car accident. Gao Ming was hit beyond recognition, but his identity was still found out, and the final result was also revealed. Gao Ming was driving while fatigued, and accidentally crashed into a large truck, and died. Drivers, please pay attention, cherish your life, stay away from drunk driving, stay away from fatigued driving. The broadcast said this at the end, and then jumped to other columns. Ye Chen smiled knowingly, and his originally depressed mood recovered a little. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 212. Ye Chen returned to the villa and went online again, and found that various lists across the country were open. Level list, equipment list, pet list, etc. Such a rhythm means that someone has already reached level 30, and a national broadcast must have been heard at that time, but Ye Chen missed it. But even if he didn't hear the broadcast, Ye Chen looked at the national level list and knew who was the first to reach level 30. No one, Left Hand Heaven, Furious Warrior, level 32. Are you already level 32? Ye Chen was stunned for a second, and then suddenly realized that Left Hand Heaven was the first to reach level 30, triggering a national broadcast. He must have received a very generous experience reward, and he must have been upgraded to 2 levels in an instant. But after thinking about it, Ye Chen took a look at his level and found that it was only level 25. The gap was a bit big. However, the highest level person in the light camp, Guilty, is only level 29. Speaking of which, Ye Chen also knew Left Hand Heaven, but of course he didn't know him. After all, Left Hand Heaven was the president of the Demon God Guild. If Xinyue can only be ranked 3rd among the 10 giants, then Demon God is 2nd, and as for 1st, it is the Merchant Alliance. The Merchant Alliance belongs to the neutral camp, the Demon God belongs to the dark camp, and the Myth belongs to the light camp. It seems that the battle between the factions is imminent. Within a few minutes of Yuchen going online, he heard several nationwide broadcasts, and the two camps of light and darkness had begun to enmity. After browsing the forum for a while, some people started to post posts about the country column that no one cared about before. Yuchen looked at it and found it boring, so he closed the forum and went to the Flame Mountain to push the boss. Then the main team was asked to clear the Kinyu City dungeon. Almost all the first kills in these dungeons were taken away, but even without the first kill, the experience in the dungeon was quite rich. 2 more days passed like this, and it had been more than a week since the last time the Crazy Cow was refreshed. Yuchen took people there and found that the Crazy Cow had indeed refreshed. "Warriors, it's you again. Great, that Crazy Cow is resurrected again. I hope you can help me eliminate it again." The pastor once again issued a task to everyone. After receiving it, Yuchen took people into the pasture and within a few moments, he killed the Crazy Cow again. Yuchen stole a handful and produced a purple item, but most importantly, Crazy Cow once again produced a bottle of milk, which is milk that can increase pet favorability. Yuchen decisively fed Xiaohong, causing Xiaohong's favorability to drop to 76, and then rose back to 86. At this moment, Yuchen received an urgent request for help from Feudo Rushan. Their guild base was actually attacked by the Hall of Fame. "Brothers, last time we defended the city, the brothers from the Tianxiawai helped us. Now their base is attacked by the Hall of Fame. It's time for us to repay the favor. Everyone, follow me and kill the Hall of Fame." Yuchen shouted on the guild channel and led the main group to rush to the town where the Tianxia guild was located. I saw that the front of the Tianxiawai guild base was surrounded by a large number of Hall of Fame teams. 3,000 vs. The world will fight with the Hall of Fame and consume each other. There will be people in the world who die, are immediately resurrected from the base and rush out, and after the Hall of Fame dies, they have to return to the city. But even so, the Hall of Fame still had an overwhelming advantage, and every time they massacred a wave, they would bombard the base. When Yuchen and others arrived, the base only had half HP left. "People of the Tianxiawai, listen, your president is a SB. He offends our Hall of Fame and causes you to also fall down." Qianzing Tianxia laughed wildly. "Those who know the current affairs are heroes. Why do you need to help this SB defend the city? Resolutely quit the guild. I can make you a peripheral member of the Hall of Fame." Hearing this, all members of the Tianxiawai were stunned. Tianxiawai is just an ordinary guild, and its members are not bound by contracts. Now that they have dropped the level, they were originally unhappy. Now that they heard about the opportunity to become a member of the Hall of Fame, they immediately made their choice. "President Feudo, thank you for taking care of me, but I don't want to drop down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, President Feudo, it's too difficult to upgrade Dream World and we don't want to drop the level. Sorry. Haha, brothers, let's go to the Hall of Fame." Compared with the Hall of Fame, the World Association is garbage. For a time, the guild channel of Tianxiawai exploded. Countless people apologized and then quit the guild. There were even some people who fanned the flames, just like grass on the wall, falling on both sides. "Damn it, you guys are unloyal," Xiaoqi and others' faces turned green with anger. On the side, motionless as a mountain, he looked at the guild channel and saw that there were still more than 800 people who had not left, and his heart trembled. To be honest, he didn't expect that under such circumstances, there would be more than 800 brothers fighting alongside him. The waves wash away the sand, leaving behind all the elites. Haha, I didn't expect that in such a passive situation, there are so many brothers who are willing to accompany me to conquer the world. That's enough, I have no regrets. Feudo Rushan shouted, "Let us go crazy one last time. Winning or losing is no longer important." Good. 800 elites roared, the roar shook the sky, and it had the momentum to overwhelm the Hall of Fame. Suddenly. Chirp. A very representative phoenix cry sounded, making Fufu Rushan and others happy. Qian Xingtiangxia and others panic, paralysis, the night god is coming. Don't move, we'll help you. Brothers, kill. Kill the Hall of Fame, Ye Chen roared, broke a dagger with his bare hands, activated the breaking martial arts technique, and entered the domineering state. In an instant, he rushed into the enemy group with Xiao Hong and slaughtered crazily. Array, darkness surges. At the same time, Tank activated the array, and all of Ye Chen's attributes were amplified. His body flashed with colorful light, and a whirlwind rolled up under his feet. Ye Chen felt that he couldn't control the power in his body, he vented it crazily, one step at a time. In a few seconds, there was a circle of empty space around him. The Hall of Fame and others were afraid of him and retreated crazily. What are you afraid of? Control them. Brother Xiang saw that a large group of his men were afraid to fight against Ye Chen's group, and he was so angry that his nose was crooked and roared. Hearing this, the men reacted and controlled Ye Chen and Xiao Hong. But the next second, Ye Chen's firm will was triggered, and the control was released again, and he continued to slash and kill crazily. In the distance, Qian Xingtiangxia looked at Ye Chen and his eyelids twitched violently. He was confident of his extraordinary strength, but now he didn't dare to fight with Ye Chen. Ye Chen only brought one regiment here. We don't need to care about them. Destroy the base, Qian Xingtiangxia shouted. In an instant, the army gave up the siege of Ye Chen and others and turned to bombard the Tianxia Y base. Badong Rushan and Ye Chen each led their people to fight hard, but the other side no longer had them in their eyes. They piled up corpses and beat the base violently, and HP dropped sharply. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 213. For a while, white light continued to be emitted from the army of the Hall of Fame. This was someone dying and returning to the city. This caused their number to decrease. But in contrast, Qian Xingtiangxia took the lead and bombarded the base of the Tianxia Y, causing the base's HP to drop. Finally, it was shattered with a bang, and countless debris fell to the ground. Tianxia Y Guild Channel, the base of this guild was destroyed. Since there is no other base, the guild is disbanded. When Badong Rushan and others heard this news, the guild was disbanded. Haha, their guild is disbanded, brothers, kill them all. With Qian Xingtiangxia's order, the army of the Hall of Fame went out and fought with Badong Rushan and more than 800 people with all their strength. For a while, white light flashed continuously. Tianxia Y was disbanded, and their members could not be resurrected from the base after death, because the base no longer existed. The only way was to return to the city to revive. Not long after, the number of people on Badong Rushan's side dropped sharply. And Ye Chen, kill him for me, Qian Xingtiangxia sneered. Previously, he was afraid of changes, so he didn't fight seriously with Ye Chen, Badong Rushan, and others, but only focused on destroying the base. Now that the base is destroyed, he has such an opportunity, of course he will kill them all. As soon as he finished speaking, the whole army rioted, but the next moment, majestic roars came from all directions. The God Killer's people are coming, let's retreat first, Qian Xingtiangxia ordered frustratedly. Originally, their Hall of Fame was not afraid of the God Killer, but they had already consumed some of their energy before, and it would be a loss if they continued to fight. Soon, the Hall of Fame dispersed, and Huo Wu and Uncle Soy Sauce arrived with a large force. The two took a look at the ruins in front of them and said apologetically, "Sorry, we are late." Badong Rushan and others looked ashen, and Ye Chen saw it and sighed secretly. "It's okay, one failure is nothing, next time you set up, I will help you support the scene. Ye Chen walked over and patted Budong Rushan and Shitu on the shoulders. Well, thank you. The two nodded and left with people dejectedly. In the ruins, Ye Chen and others looked at those lonely figures and sighed. Okay, everyone go back and hurry up to upgrade. Also, don't fall behind in upgrading the guild. Ye Chen waved his hand to disperse the crowd, and then led the main group to brush the dungeon. A week later, Ye Chen finally reached level 30. Ye Chen, ID. Race, human. Profession, assassin. Title, good man, perceiver, hidden weapon master, killer. Level, 30. HP, 2830/2830. MP, 980/980. Strength, 1020. Agility, 240. Asterisk physical attack, 1317-1394. Asterisk fire attribute enhancement, 75. Recognition, 368. Asterisk perception, 2. Skills, LV9 stun, LV11 stab, LV11 thief, LV7 lockpick, stealth, sprint, LV7 throat slitting, LV9 bleeding, LV5 wind step, LV6 spin stab, LV3 trap release. Rare skills, LV8 blood flowing like a stream, LV9 hidden weapon mastery, LV10 shadow attack, LV6 stun dart, shadow escape, LV3 boomerang. Additional skills of equipment, goodwill aura, poison mist. Special skills, low-level life potion, LV7 poisoning, LV10 forging, blood eyes, LV8 breaking martial arts, LV5 advanced dart making drawings, LV7 power attack, team teleport, LV4 self-recovery, resurrection. Assassin skill book, final blow, murderous aura, killing mark. Talent, firm will, passive. After Ye Chen reached level 30, he directly upgraded his equipment, and continued to inlay the LV2 physical strength puzzle with the LV3 physical strength puzzle, so that the HP reached more than 2,800 points. Puzzles are very expensive, the higher the level, the more expensive, and ordinary people can't afford it. Because if the inlay fails, the equipment and puzzles will all be destroyed. Inlaying LV1 puzzles, the success rate is 100%. On the basis of LV1, continue to inlay LV2, the success rate is 95%. Decreasing in sequence. Now, the only people who can complete the LV3 puzzle are the rich and the powerful. More importantly, Ye Chen has the feedback of the blood tree. Any attribute increase will continue to increase by 30%. So, Ye Chen's current HP is already quite amazing, at the level of a berserker with purple clothes and LV2 physical puzzle at the same level. In addition, reaching level 30 is considered a watershed. The level 30 skills of each profession are very powerful, such as the eagle eye of the archer, the iron wall of the shield warrior, the group attack skills of the mages of various systems. And the level 30 skill of the thief is Blade Storm, common skill instant. The high-speed rotation of the self generates a strong sword energy, causing 150% physical damage to the surrounding enemies per second, and the duration is 3 seconds. The rotation movement speed is 50%, and the cooling time is 35 seconds. There is no doubt that this is a powerful group attack skill. Every second, 150% physical damage is done to each enemy. Ye Chen's normal attack now kills people instantly, and with 1.5, basically wherever he spins, he will be killed instantly. Ye Chen tried to release the Blade Storm, making himself spin at high speed like a battle top. Currently, his Blade Storm is only LV1, and the sword energy extension range is only 1 yard. But as the level increases, not only the damage will increase, but the range of the sword energy will also increase. Ye Chen remembers very clearly that the LV10 Blade Storm has 2 codes of sword energy. Just imagine, A two-code giant gyroscope rushes into a group of monsters and strangles them at high speed. How refreshing it is. Of course, even if the skills are strong, it depends on the development of each player. For example, in the previous life, Yechen did not have Xiaohei, and his equipment was not very good. Even if he used Bladestorm, the damage he dealt was painful, and he could not strangle the monster in 3 seconds. In Yechen's previous life, it was the current situation of most ordinary players. There are always only a few people who can really play the game. At level 30, in addition to the powerful help of Bladestorm, Yechen can also use the gold quality 1000 machine fan. Change clothes. Yechen took out the 1000 machine fan and opened the built-in secret compartment, which has a capacity of 50 hidden weapons. Then, he took out 50 golden darts and placed them in. For the hidden weapon flow, although Xiaohei cannot increase the power, with Yechen's current damage, it is more than enough to kite and rub. Gather in Baiyun City. Yechen gathered the main force and headed straight for the Yunwu Mountains. Now the average level of the main force is 30, and they can fight the sky-swallowing beast on the top of the Yunwu Mountains. Yechen has a time-limited task from the old appraiser, and needs to get the material heart of the sky-swallowing to make the wind god bag. Today is the last day of the time limit. Yechen led the team to the top of the Yunwu Mountains. On the way, Yechen easily passed through the thick fog maze, which shocked everyone. When passing by the hut of the old Mankinji, Yechen asked for the worn-out wind god bag. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 214. At that time, the old Mankinji was playing chess alone again. He ignored everything until the game was over. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Yechen knew he was no match for him, so Monkey volunteered to play and defeated the old Mankinji's game in one fell swoop, completing a hidden task and being praised by the old Mankinji. "Young man, I hope you can come and play chess with me often in the future." The old Mankinji said this to Monkey before returning the worn-out Fengshen bag to Yechen. Why did he say return? Because the bag originally belonged to Yechen. Monkey, I didn't expect you to have such a good skill. Yechen, Tank, and Fatty were shocked. They were friends who could roll in bed together, but they didn't know that Monkey had such a unique skill. When I was in junior high school, I won the runner-up in the provincial competition, Monkey said modestly. Well, that's fine, Yechen nodded, and said, old Kinji wants you to play chess with him more. Come more often when you have time. Maybe there will be deeper hidden tasks later. Maybe there are even the only hidden tasks. The monkey nodded. Next, Yechen handed the worn-out wind god bag to the kitten. When we kill the boss later, kitten, you sneak to absorb the thick fog. You know, there is thick fog everywhere on the top of the Yunwu mountain range. At the worst time, it even exceeds the thick fog array. The player's vision is less than 1 yard. If there is no wind god bag, there is no way to fight. On the top of the mountain, everyone found a huge cocky monster in the thick fog, looming. When the kitten opened the wind god bag and absorbed part of the thick fog on the top of the mountain, everyone finally saw the true face of the monster. It was more than 10 yards long and shaped like a dog, but there were no eyes on its face. A big mouth protruding outward was closed, revealing a row of steel teeth. At this moment, it was lying on the ground sleeping, and between its breaths, a large amount of white fog gushed out of its 2 huge nostrils. Yechen patted Tank's shoulder, and the 2 of them touched him first. Yechen took the first steal and got a level 30 purple outfit. The next moment, the sky-devouring beast stood up suddenly, opened its mouth and roared. Boom! The extremely violent green whirlwind spewed out of its mouth, but fortunately Tank was beside it and held up his shield to block it. Roar! Suddenly, the sky-devouring beast roared, opened its mouth to an exaggerated extent, and leaped forward to swallow Tank with his shield. Everyone gasped, but fortunately, the next second, the sky-devouring beast spit out Tank again, and Tank's HP was less than half left. Secondly, he was covered with purple liquid, which made him not only poisoned, but also slowed down a lot. Break the martial arts. Ye Chen immediately activated the hegemony, and before Tank recovered, he temporarily served as MT. He was indeed qualified in the hegemony state. Smack. Powerful attack. Ye Chen knocked it out with a stick, and then hit it hard to deal more than 6,000 points of damage, but unfortunately the sky-devouring beast had no equipment, so there was no concept of equipment being destroyed. Sea of Fire. Explosive Flame. Armor-piercing Arrow. Wind Blade. -109. -1080. -880. -730. After Ye Chen stabilized the hatred, Huo Wu, Uncle Soy Sauce and other back row immediately output crazily, and the front row warriors also opened their buffs, rushed out and attacked the sky-devouring beast. They knew very well that no matter how they fought, they could not cause OT, because they could not take away the hatred of the boss for Ye Chen anyway. The sky-devouring beast felt pain and quickly woke up from the dizziness. It was seen that it kept raising its claws to attack Ye Chen, but the damage it dealt was not optimistic. Only a few hundred points at a time. Ye Chen could completely withstand it, not to mention that there were priests such as Xiaoro and Denai behind to add blood. 2 seconds later, the sky-devouring beast opened its mouth again. Ye Chen was prepared. The dagger cut the sky-devouring beast first, triggering Shadow Attack to teleport to the back of the sky-devouring beast. The next moment, the sky-devouring beast bit forward with its big mouth, but it only took a mouthful of air. Stab, spin stab. Ye Chen was still attacking from behind the sky-devouring beast. The next moment, the sky-devouring beast turned a corner and rushed towards Ye Chen with a huge pressure, bang. -1680. Huge damage emerged. Because Ye Chen was a dominant body, he did not move a step under the violent impact. However, the sky-devouring beast was repelled 10 yards away and fell to the ground with a scream. Behind it, Huo Wu and others were still outputting powerful damage, hitting thousands of points of damage one by one. But it didn't care at all. It dug its feet on the ground twice and rushed towards Ye Chen fiercely again. This is a collision skill. Even if Ye Chen is a dominant body, if he is hit, he will probably be killed by it in seconds. The sky-devouring beast rushed towards Ye Chen like a thick yellow lightning, but it crashed into an iron wall halfway. Tank raised his shield in front of Ye Chen to block, using the iron wall, so that the giant shield derived a huge iron wall with a width of about 5 yards, and the defense of the iron wall was 150% of Tank's defense. Array, darkness surges. Tank then cast a magic array, allowing the team members to be amplified in the huge magic array. Then, Ye Chen and others attacked, making the sky-devouring beast scream. The next second, the sky-devouring beast jumped up and leaped onto a rock, escaping from the attack range of the crowd. Of course, the sky-devouring beast is a golden lord, with a proud heart and even a great ideal of swallowing the sky. Of course, it will not really escape, but just regroup, and this escape has cleared its previous hatred, and it needs to recalculate hatred. Ah! The sky-devouring beast stood on the rock, howling loudly, suddenly raised its head and opened its mouth. At this moment, its mouth seemed to become a wind god bag, emitting a great suction force. Above the sky, a cloud vortex suddenly emerged, twisting up an unknown amount of white mist, and then being absorbed into the mouth of the sky-devouring beast, and its HP quickly recovered. Quick! Long-range attack, don't let it continue to recover blood. Before, the sky-devouring beast had lost 1/3 of its HP, and now it is rising again. Ye Chen screamed in pain, and at the same time changed to the Brick 1000 machine fan, continuously shooting golden darts, which can also hit nearly 1000 points of damage. Is it called the sky-devouring beast, and now it is really swallowing the sky tank, and others were shocked. Next, the sky-devouring beast was attacked and stopped recovering blood, but it continued to devour the sky. A full minute later, the sky suddenly became extremely blue, and the sunlight was much stronger. Damn, the clouds in the sky were reduced by 80% in an instant. Burp. Suddenly, the sky-devouring beast burped in satisfaction, but the next moment, it opened its mouth and sprayed the clouds and mist at a speed thousands of times faster than exhaling through its nose. Almost in an instant, Yechen and others were surrounded by clouds and mist again, and their vision did not exceed 1 yard. Huff. The kitten was sneaking, still using the wind god bag, constantly absorbing the thick fog. On the rocks in the air, the sky-devouring beast's ears moved. It felt the flow of the wind direction, and immediately jumped off the rock and rushed towards the kitten at a high speed. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 215. The sky-devouring beast moved, its huge body shuttled through the thick fog. In the thick fog, everyone heard the movement and judged that it was moving, but they could not see its direction because of the vision. Lock the coordinates of the kitten, tank rush over to open the cover, Yechen roared, which startled everyone and woke them up from a dream. Now everyone is in the thick fog, and the vision is no more than 1 yard. If they are targeted by the sky-devouring beast, everyone will die. However, it doesn't matter who dies now, the kitten cannot die, because she is responsible for absorbing the thick fog. If she dies, without the wind god bag to continue absorbing the clouds and fog, then this sky-devouring beast doesn't need to be fought, and it can't be beaten at all. Huo Wu, Uncle Soy Sauce, and Old Duck were all stunned. Yechen's growth rate is too fast, almost changing every day. This growth, of course, is not only about combat power, but also includes consciousness, command, overall view, mentality, and other comprehensive qualities. Now they have no doubt that Yechen will lead them to a new peak. Roar. At the same time, Tank played the system map, locked the coordinates of the kitten, and then rushed over to open the cover with a roar. Soon, from the direction of Tank Kitten, there were constant muffled bang-bang sounds. This was the Sky Devourer hitting the black tortoise cover. Then, the thick fog began to flow and was absorbed by Kitten's wind god bag. The Sky Devourer will not swallow or spit out clouds and fog during the battle. After only 2 or 3 seconds, Yechen only felt that the clouds and fog were thinner, and he could vaguely see the silhouette of the Sky Devourer in front. Tanks should keep the hatred steady, the front and back rows should output, and pay attention to controlling the hatred. Yechen continued to command, and everyone acted separately. The warriors rushed to attack, and the mages and archers in the back row focused their fire. In order to cooperate with the tanks, everyone deliberately controlled the output and used small skills to attack. Even so, everyone grasped the rhythm, and the Sky Devourer was attacked continuously, and its HP was also falling. After 5 seconds, the black tortoise cover disappeared, and the clouds and fog became thinner and thinner, and were all collected by Kitten with the wind god bag. It's stable, everyone control the output and keep the rhythm. Tank raised his shield to block and reminded the back. Hearing this, everyone also output steadily, and the HP of the Sky Devouring beast dropped rhythmically, and after a few minutes, it fell below half of its health. In order to avoid OT, Yechen did not dare to output strongly, but only used the 1000 machine fan to attack remotely. He drank a bottle of CD potion and started to use the thief. After 6 minutes, the Sky Devouring beast only had the last 10% of its HP. It actually gave up its hatred and escaped again, but one of its feet was controlled by Yufeng's earthen fortress. Then everyone output with all their strength, throwing various level 30 skills randomly, and took it away in one wave. With a hiss, the Sky Devouring beast, as the first kill, naturally had a gorgeous explosion, but the things that exploded were all garbage, because the good things had been stolen by Yechen first, including 3 purple clothes and a Sky Devouring heart. Meet at Medusa Castle. Ye Chen said, and everyone teleported to Baiun City, and then rushed out of the city towards the ancient ruins. Ye Chen went to find a tailor first, and handed over the heart of heaven devouring, along with 2 gold coins. Soon, the tailor made a brand new wind god bag. After handing the new wind god bag to the appraiser of Baiun City, Ye Chen rushed to Medusa Castle to join everyone. Medusa Castle, basement. This basement is like a prison, with wall lamps on the walls, which gives a good view in the dark. Ye Chen and Tank led the team forward, and soon they came to the door of the sealed room. There was no doubt that the black-winged serpent demon was imprisoned inside. The black-winged serpent demon and the heaven-devouring beast are both level 30 gold lords, with HP as high as 400,000. The damage of the black-winged serpent demon is slightly inferior to that of the heaven-devouring beast, but it can use poison, and more importantly, the range of the sealed room is very small, and the players cannot use it. If they are not careful, it is likely to be the rhythm of the whole group being wiped out. Buzz. With a muffled sound, Ye Chen pushed the stone door open, and then Tank and others quickly rushed in. Huo Wu and Uncle Jianju saw the drawbacks at a glance and said worriedly, "This room is so small, if we force it, someone will definitely die." "Well, everyone, split up and I'll lead the boss out of the room first," Ye Chen said, sneaking out, and the black-winged snake demon just woke up and rushed towards everyone, but was knocked unconscious by Ye Chen with a club in the middle. "Break the martial arts." War cry. Ye Chen activated the buff, attacked, cut the throat, and pierced the heart, dealing nearly 30,000 damage, instantly stabilizing the hatred of the black-winged snake demon. Roar. The next moment, the black-winged snake demon woke up and opened his mouth to spray out a poisonous mist, but Ye Chen had high poison resistance and dominance, so he only suffered a little damage. Immediately afterwards, the black-winged snake demon swung its long tail and slapped Ye Chen, -290. Self-recovery. Ye Chen took out a milk bottle out of thin air and stuffed it into his mouth, add 562. Refilled instantly. Run. Ye Chen turned around and rushed 5 yards like lightning, continuing to run forward, throwing darts while running to maintain his hatred. The black-winged snake demon really followed Ye Chen closely. It was extremely fast and caught up with Ye Chen in an instant, constantly swinging its snake tail to attack. And Ye Chen maintained his dominance, resisted the damage, and rushed out of the door with the black-winged snake demon. Tank blocked the door. Tank was stunned when he heard it, and stupidly walked over to block the stone door. At this moment, he suddenly figured it out. With him blocking the door, it would be difficult for the boss to rush into the room, and it could only stay in the aisle, but the aisle was even narrower, and it could not move even more. Bang bang bang. The black-winged snake demon was still unaware of this and continued to attack Ye Chen frantically. Soon, Ye Chen's dominance disappeared and he was killed instantly. At this time, it finally turned around and found that the door was blocked by the tank. It immediately roared and rushed forward. Parry. The tank squatted slightly, raised the shield and adjusted its posture, like a huge steel stone, making the black-winged snake demon rush forward, but the huge force still couldn't knock it open. Parry, the shield warrior's sole skill. The cooldown time of parry is extremely short, and the effect is similar to that of dominance. It can't be knocked back, knocked away, etc. However, parrying is only for the front, and it will be broken if attacked from behind. This is not as good as dominance. Of course, it doesn't have the defense bonus of dominance. However, now the tank is blocking the door. The black-winged snake demon can only attack him from the front, so the parry will not be broken at all, blocking the black-winged snake demon outside the door forever. Strong attack, attack with your eyes closed. Ye Chen's passive resurrection is triggered. Because of the resurrection, the black-winged snake demon has no hatred for him. At his command, The people behind the tanks focused their fire and attacked wildly, causing various OTS. If it were an ordinary team, the team leader would have scolded the team members for doing such a mess, but in their team, the team leader directly gave such an order. Because it doesn't matter. The black-winged snake demon was beaten, a little confused for a moment, and the hatred was taken away by Shen Kaijin, Huo Wu, and Uncle Jianzhu. But they all stood behind the tank. The black-winged snake demon wanted to kill them, but he couldn't rush in no matter what. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 216. At this moment, the black-winged snake demon is like a helpless baby being toyed with by various weird uncles and aunties. The black-winged snake demon was extremely angry and wanted to kill them, but it couldn't hit the tank. What greeted it was the bombardment of everyone, and the powerful output without control. In just a few minutes, the black-winged snake demon's HP plummeted to less than half. Wow, is this the Golden Lord? It's so easy, it's just crushing. Everyone was so happy to recommend the Golden Lord that they couldn't help but laugh out loud. Huo Wu, Uncle Soy Sauce, and Lao Ya looked at each other, and they could all see the shock in each other's eyes. Yuchen's grasp of the terrain is too strong. To be honest, even they didn't think of such a good way to block monsters at the first time. Yuchen himself was quite satisfied with this. This card monster had nothing to do with his previous life experience. He really came up with it himself. This shows that his strength has indeed grown to the point that even if his memory of his previous life is erased, he can still do well in the game. Of course, having experience is a good thing and will accelerate his growth. Hey, you push slowly, let me steal a wave first. Ye Chen smiled secretly at everyone, and everyone nodded understandingly and slowed down the pace. Then, Ye Chen happily started stealing. The first one was a level 30 purple outfit. Everyone exclaimed, but he didn't take it seriously. Nowadays, he is too lazy to look at purple equipment, because he controls the direction of the purple equipment market of the entire light camp. He is tired of looking at purple equipment. Only gold equipment can slightly stimulate his numb nerves. The black-winged snake demon, which could have been knocked down within 5 minutes, was delayed for 20 minutes due to everyone's deliberately slowed down pace. Yuchen felt comfortable and stole another one before the boss fell to the ground. System, you successfully used the thief against the black-winged snake demon, obtained snake wings *1, and gained end proficiency. The black-winged snake demon fell to the ground and died. As a Golden Lord, it contributed a lot of experience to everyone. But as the first kill, it exploded with a bunch of garbage. Everyone has long been numb to this, because they are used to it. Boss, is there anything good out there? Everyone asked with shy faces. Yuchen despises purple clothes, but they are very rare. Yuchen also kept the stolen purple equipment on the ground as always, so that these equipments would be ownerless and everyone could distribute them according to their own needs. There is no demand, the kitten is responsible for picking it up. Well, she is the finance. Yuchen's own attention was all focused on the snake wings he had just stolen. Stealing this thing actually increased his proficiency by 100,000. You know, when he stole Suanwu's black turtle shield, the thief was only LV8, and the increase in proficiency did not exceed 100,000. Now he is a thief at LV11, and with the title of Master Thief and LV3, he is a thief at LV14. If he steals another Suanwu and another Suanwu shield, the increased proficiency will be reduced. But the snake wings have increased proficiency by 100,000, which shows that the value of the snake wings is even higher than the black turtle shield. I've never heard of this thing in my previous life, I don't know what it is. Yuchen rubbed his hands excitedly and took out the snake wings to check. Snake wings, fashion. Level 1. Fashion parts, cloak. Movement speed add 5%. Additional skills, flying, instant, giving yourself the ability to fly, movement speed add 30%, duration 10 minutes, cooling time, 1 hour. Holy shit, fashion. Yachin was stunned. In Dream World, the only equipment is, head, upper body, lower body, belt, shoes, rings, necklaces, bracelets, and weapons. There are 9 equipment slots in total, and the fashion slots are very numerous. A head is subdivided into hair, contact lenses, face makeup, and earrings. There's more to the body: underwear, coats, tattoos, capes, skins, etc. There's just so much. Of course, the clothing that players spend RMB to buy in fashion stores only has a decorative effect and does not have any attribute bonus, and cannot be traded again. The snake wing is a costume with attributes, and the attributes are very awesome, with a natural add 5% movement speed and additional flying skills. You know, wild fashions like snake wings can be traded. Any wild fashion with a little bit of power would be sold at a sky-high price. You can imagine how valuable these snake wings are. This has advantages and disadvantages. Because ordinary fashion cannot be traded, it cannot be exposed or stolen. And wild fashion, although precious, can be traded, exposed, and stolen. This is a bit risky. Yachin can now be said to be full of treasures. He must really control himself in the future and not become popular at will. Otherwise, if good things are exposed, he will suffer a big loss. Fortunately, he still has more than 4,000 honor points, which can offset more than 4,000 sins. Yachin equipped the snake wings on the fashion bar, and a pair of huge black snake wings suddenly popped up from behind. Holy shit, what is this? A new special skill. 666, 6 has exploded. If the leader steps forward now, he will surely attract countless girls to embrace him. So magical, he actually has wings. Everyone looked at Yachin's current appearance and suddenly shouted excitedly, looking like they were drooling with envy. They had no idea what Yachin had stolen, and they thought the snake wings were some special skill. Yachin turned sideways, observing the huge black wings behind him, but frowned. The effect of the snake wing is very attractive, but it is too eye-catching, and it attracts bees and butterflies. You know, he is an assassin. If he enters the battlefield with wings, it will be like a firefly in the dark night, so bright, so vivid, it is impossible to keep a low profile, and then he will be besieged and killed instantly by everyone. As a last resort, he activated the hidden function of the costume and hid the snake wings. Of course, the effect is still there. This is a costume, a wild costume, Yachin explained with a smile, and shared the effect of the snake wings at the same time. Hiss. Everyone took a breath of cold air. It turned out to be a wild costume, and more importantly, it also has powerful flying skills. When they thought of this, everyone drooled all over the floor. Let's go, there is one last task. After it's done, we will go to Longyang City. Yachin smiled at everyone, led the team out of Medusa Palace, walked a distance in the desert, and entered a ruined palace. There were skeletons and other undead creatures in the palace. Yachin accepted the task in advance and killed some skeleton monsters on the spot. After completing the task, he returned to Bayun City to hand in the task and got a task item soul container. Then, Yachin came to the Palace of the Dead to meet up with everyone and went straight into the boss room. Soul of the Assassin, Jesse, Lord. Level 20. HP, / Skills, Stun, Stab, Throat Slash, Shadow Attack, Spin Stab, Sprint, Stealth, Wind Step, Blood Eyes. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 217. Jesse wore a black robe to cover up the terrifying skeletal body. When Yuchen and others came in, he got down from the throne and entered stealth. Although he is only a level 20 lord, his assassination ability is super strong. For ordinary level 30 squishy professions, being caught by him is an instant kill. Yuchen didn't dare to neglect, he didn't care, but as the leader, he had the responsibility to protect the safety of the team members. So he immediately opened his blood-red eyes, and his red eyes locked on Jesse's figure for an instant, and saw him sneaking towards everyone. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Sneak. Yuchen also entered the invisible state, triggering Jesse's setting at this moment. Once someone sneaks in, he will automatically turn on his blood-red eyes. In the black shadow, Yuchen and Jesse's eyes were flashing red, staring at each other, and rushing towards each other. However, Yuchen deliberately slowed down his pace, allowing Xiaohe to pounce at full speed, knocking him out with a stick. Then Yuchen rushed up and overlapped Xiaohe, wiped his throat, and cut Jesse's neck with a knife, -7800. Blade Storm. After Yuchen's attack, both sides appeared, and then Yuchen spun at high speed like a battle top, forming a sharp sword aura around his body, strangling Jesse like a gale. Blade Storm also has the ability to absorb. At this moment, Jesse has been relieved from the dizziness, but he is still beaten by Yuchen closely. -2350. -2430. -2298. At the end of 3 seconds, Yuchen spun around and stopped behind Jesse. He had already accumulated combo points, backstab and finishing blow. Pierce the heart. With a chi sound, Jesse's chest was shot through by a red laser, and the red light continued to extend forward for more than 10 yards. Dash. Huge damage appeared, and Jesse's HP was instantly emptied, turning into bones and falling to the ground. Not long after, a ghost shadow rose from the remains of the skeleton. He was Jesse, his pale and handsome face was full of rage and hatred. Just like last time, he roared for no reason, "I will never let her go." After the miserable roar, Jesse's figure became more and more scattered and ethereal, as if he might disperse at any time. Seeing this, Yuchen decisively took out the soul container. This was something similar to a wine jar. Yuchen opened the lid, and the wine jar instantly produced a strong suction force. Jesse exclaimed and was absorbed into the soul container. Yuchen then closed the lid. The soul container was opaque, but the green light emitted by Jesse's soul actually penetrated, allowing Yuchen to see his figure in the wine jar. Wow, as early as last time, I guessed that Jesse might have a hidden mission. Yuchen, I never thought you would come up with such a method. Huowu was amazed. Yuchen has past life experience and total methods, which are beyond the scope of everyone's understanding. Facing the shocked eyes of everyone, Yuchen smiled and turned to look at Jesse. "Jesse, it seems that you died unjustly. I have no ill intentions. I am trapping you now just to make you tell the truth. We also so that I can help you clear up your grievances." "Well, thank you." In the wine jar, Jesse bowed slightly to everyone, and then slowly told his story and cause of death. Jesse was once the third chief student of the Assassin's League. During the war, the major leagues were actually academies for each profession, responsible for cultivating talents. And Jesse is a very outstanding talent. He is specially trained by the Alliance and enjoys the highest quality equipment and training resources. If he grows up in the future, he will definitely become an excellent officer. At that time, top students like him were like fireflies in the darkness, and were admired by countless girls. Jesse was also young and soon fell in love with Freya, a talented beauty from the same class. Freya is the second-ranked member of the Third Assassin's League, and her status is slightly lower than Jesse's. For a time, handsome men and beautiful women, talented men and beautiful women, were blessed and envied by countless people. Next, the story becomes bloody. Freya talked sweetly, and Jesse willingly gave up the best resources. However, Freya was still not satisfied, and she killed him with the last glass of poisoned wine. Jesse died and the truth was covered up. Although the Alliance had doubts about Freya, there was no evidence, and after Jesse's death, they could only rely on Freya to support the situation this time, so the old things were not mentioned, and Freya Leah became the chief and enjoyed the best resources. That bitch. I was infatuated with her, but she cruelly poisoned me. Jesse roared angrily, I will never let go of my resentment unless I watch her die miserably. After listening to the whole story, everyone showed strange expressions. Game writers are not good at it. This old story has been written badly and is still being used, you might as well let me edit it. That's right, cliché. Tank and the others shook their heads and uttered disdain, which made Jesse a little panicked. What is the situation? I am so miserable, and you are still in the mood to make fun of me? Warriors, I beg you to help me take revenge. At that time, I will give you my most powerful skill, Jesse begged loudly. Well, I'll help you. Yechen nodded in agreement, put away the wine jar, and said to everyone, you can move around nearby, and I will teleport you at any time. After everyone nodded, Yechen teleported to Longyang City and went directly to the Light Alliance. The king of the human empire was lying drunk in the West City. How outrageous! How outrageous! There are such vicious people in our light camp. Yechen took out the wine jar and asked Jesse to tell the truth in person. The truth was revealed in an instant, and the faces of the 5 kings were all ugly. It is not appropriate to make ugly things public. Yechen, you happen to be an assassin, so please go and assassinate that vicious woman. Zwivozikin said, throwing out a talisman, saying, this is a space talisman. After using it, you can temporarily open up a space, and then you can assassinate her. Yechen reached out and took the space talisman. With this thing, even if Freya is in the main city, he can kill her without anyone noticing. Okay, I will be responsible for assassinating her. Yechen agreed, and just as he was about to teleport away, he was stopped by the Elf Queen. Young brave, before you carry out your mission, please allow me to send you blessings with singing. After the voice fell, the Elf Queen sang the elf song. System, you have been blessed by Elf Queen Mara, and your strength, physical strength, intelligence, spirit, and agility have increased by 300%. The duration is 3 hours. As the system prompt sounded, a colorful halo rose under Yechen's feet, and the attributes skyrocketed. Thank you. Yechen hurriedly thanked him and teleported away. The Elf Queen was halfway through singing a song and got stuck. Asshole boy, you have no manners at all, Queen, please continue. The other 4 kings were intoxicated by the melodious singing, but the singing was suddenly interrupted by Yechen. Looking at the Elf Queen's embarrassed expression, the corners of their mouths twitched immediately. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 218. Yechen used the teleportation stone and returned to Bayun City again. It was rare to get a powerful blessing, and he didn't want to waste a minute. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Since the 5 kings asked for an assassination, he didn't need to call Tank and others to attack with great fanfare. Anyway, he could handle it alone now. The situation has changed. Next, I will act by myself and disband. Yechen said in the team channel, quit the team, and went to the Assassin Alliance. By asking the receptionist, he learned that Freya had just returned from a mission and was resting at home. Thank you. Yechen nodded and sneaked to Freya's house. This woman also had the status of a noble and owned a large house in Bayun City. Yechen sneaked in and found Freya in the living room. She was indeed a beautiful woman with big eyes, beautiful nose, and creamy skin. More importantly, her eyes had a kind of charm that could provoke men. No wonder Jesse was fascinated by her. Interestingly, there was another man in the living room besides her, a powerful berserker. At this moment, the berserker sat on the sofa with a big horse and a golden sword, while Freya poured a glass of red wine, twisted her big butt and walked slowly, sitting on the berserker's thighs with endless waves, feeding the berserker wine. The berserker panted, grabbed the red wine and drank it all, and was about to lean over to overwhelm Freya. Freya stretched out her hand and gently blocked the berserker's big mouth, humming softly. The berserker immediately understood and nodded decisively. "Don't worry, Freya, I will give you the golden dagger obtained in the mission." Hearing this, Freya smiled with satisfaction. Seeing that the berserker was anxious, she gently kissed the berserker on the face. "Captain, don't be impatient. I just came back from the mission and I'm dirty. Let me take a shower first." "Let me take a shower with you." The berserker opened his mouth and laughed. Freya laughed softly, pushed the berserker away, stood up, and walked towards the bathroom with her big butt twisted. The berserker squinted his eyes and stared at her butt and watched her go. Tisk tisk, if Jesse saw this, I wonder what he would think. In the shadows, Yechen raised his lips slightly. Now the wine jar was put into the inventory, so Jesse couldn't see the scene, otherwise he might go berserk. After a muffled laugh, Yechen's eyes were stern, ignoring the berserker, and quickly followed Freya into the bathroom. With a bang, Freya locked the door and began to undress. Yechen sneered and watched quietly on the side. When Freya was about to untie the bra on her chest, Yechen tore open the space symbol. The next moment, Yechen and Freya both came to a colorful space. Space symbol. Freya was knowledgeable and understood it instantly after a brief shock. Her original spring-like mysterious smile was instantly restrained, staring at Yechen closely, releasing endless murderous aura. She replaced Jesse's position and was also the chief student of the Assassins' Union. Naturally, she was also an assassin. The murderous aura she released at this moment was extremely strong, causing Yechen's attributes to drop by 30%. Fortunately, Yechen received the blessing of the Elf Queen first, and all attributes increased by 300%. Now that he was weakened a little, it was not a big deal. "Little handsome boy, who bribed you to murder your sister?" After releasing the murderous aura, Freya smiled again and began to test Yechen. "I was indeed entrusted by someone." Yechen smiled and took out the wine jar. Jesse's soul emitted a strange green light and penetrated the wine jar, allowing him to see the outside world, and of course others could see him. "Freya!" Puff. Jesse roared angrily when he saw Freya, but the next second he saw Freya's disheveled clothes, and he was frightened and trembled, kneeling on the ground. "Jesse? It turned out to be you, a waste. I didn't expect that you didn't go to hell after you died, and you still have a trace of residual soul alive." Freya sneered. "Bitch. I obeyed you in every way and gave you the best training resources, but you turned against me and killed me with poisoned wine." Jesse roared angrily. "Shut up, why should a dead person still exist?" Freya sneered and threw a dart with her bare hands at the wine jar. Once the wine jar was broken, Jesse's soul would disappear instantly, and Yechen's hidden mission would definitely fail. Of course, he would not let this happen. He immediately dodged sideways and then summoned Xiaohong to make it bigger and grab the wine jar. "Yechen, help me kill this bitch." Jesse was still roaring in the wine jar. "Leave it to me." Yechen chuckled and rushed out, 3 times faster than usual, almost 4 times faster. "That's right, with the blessing of the Elf Queen, the blood tree will be further amplified. Cut the throat." Yechen brought a strong sound of breaking wind, and in the blink of an eye, he killed in front of Freya, and the sharp dagger cut the latter's fragile neck. Clang! At the same time, the ring in Freya's right hand flashed, and a dagger appeared out of thin air in her hand. She slashed forward and blocked Yechen's attack. Blade Storm! Yechen did not stop, spinning at high speed to strangle Freya, dealing outrageous damage one after another, dash, dash, dash. While being attacked, Freya's ring kept flashing, and then pieces of equipment appeared out of thin air, causing Yechen's damage to decrease. Bloodblade, Freya, Golden Lord. Level 35. HP, / Skills. Note, the third chief student of the Assassin Alliance. After Freya put on the equipment, her HP reached 500,000, but Yechen was unmoved. Now, with any ordinary attack, he could hit more than 10,000 with Xiaohe. Freya's HP plummeted, and she also noticed the terrible damage of Yechen. Soon she noticed that Yechen was stepping on a colorful halo, and immediately frowned and said, "The blessing of the Elf Queen." "Boy, have you seen the Elf Queen?" "Yes, they asked me to kill you," Yechen sneered. "Damn Jessie," Freya frowned, and she instantly guessed that it was Jessie who stabbed her out. At that moment, Freya turned her head and stared at Jessie gloomily, but when she saw Xiao Hong holding the wine jar, she gave up the idea of destroying the wine jar. "It seems that I can't stay in the light camp anymore. Boy, you got involved yourself. I will kill you and then escape to the dark camp." Freya was buffed, and the dagger in her hand was covered with a layer of blood light. Then, the blood light extended upwards and actually formed a blood sword. Swish! Freya rushed out quickly and slashed directly at Yechen. The two sides fought together, clanging, clanging, the dagger and the blood sword kept colliding, the sound of metal clashing was heard, and sparks flew everywhere. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 219. Yechen has the advantage in speed and can cut 4 or 5 knives in 1 second, while Freya is not slow either. She can cut 2 or 3 knives in 1 second, and the blood lightsaber does extremely high damage and has the added ability to suck blood. Fortunately, Yechen activated the Paoju and entered the Overlord body. She couldn't deal much damage, so she couldn't recover much blood. She can recover 4 or 50 points of blood with a slash, which is just a drop in the bucket compared to her 500,000 HP. In 5 seconds, Yechen cut off Freya's HP by more than 200,000, and also quenched the poison, bleeds, and the blood flowed like an injection, causing Freya to be poisoned, bleed, and lose her HP. Powerful attack. With a bang, Yechen's dagger collided with Freya's blood sword again. Sparks appeared and the blood sword broke at the same time. After the blood light dissipated, Freya's dagger returned to its original shape and was broken in half. Shadow attack. Pierce the heart. Dash. Dash. Yechen's shadow attack circled behind Freya, and pierced the dagger directly. Suddenly a red light shot out, piercing Freya's body, and huge red damage appeared above her head. Freya was startled, but she couldn't run away from Yechen, so she had to kill him by force. Immediately throw away the damaged half of the dagger and take out a new dagger. Unfortunately, as her previous dagger was destroyed, the bloody blade also cooled down. Now she began to worry that she would not be able to deal more damage, but when she hit Yechen again, she dealt more than 2,000 points of damage at once. Haha, it turns out that your high defense is just an illusion. It was all supported by your hegemonic body. Now that you have lost your hegemonic body, you are simply vulnerable. Freya was startled by the damage she inflicted, but she understood immediately and sneered loudly. Yechen didn't care and continued to attack Freya, slashing 5 times in 1 second and causing nearly 60,000 damage. During this period, he also did not forget to use the thief. The Bloodlight Sword, the buff skill of Bloodlight Blade, is the only rare skill. With this skill alone, Freya even got the title of Blood Blade. Of course Yechen also wants such an awesome thing. However, Freya is an NPC. She only has one life. If she dies, she will not be refreshed. If it doesn't explode after being beaten to death, or it doesn't get stolen, then there will be no chance in the future. The thief's CD was 5 seconds. Yuchen stole it once but failed to steal it. Then he cut again for 2 seconds before being killed by Freya. Yuchen's all attributes increased, and his HP exceeded 10,000, but he couldn't withstand Freya's 3-second attack. However, after death, the passive trigger caused him to be resurrected again, and the CD was completely cooled down. Break the martial arts. Yuchen turned on the hegemony again. Now Freya had less than 100,000 HP left. He killed her by just slashing for a few seconds. The result was already stable. 3 seconds later, Freya's whole body turned purple and red, she was poisoned and bleeding, and she collapsed miserably. During this period, Yuchen also used a thief once, but unfortunately he still couldn't steal it. There was nothing we could do about it. After all, in the fight, it was either you or me who died. There were too few opportunities for him to steal. Now Freya fell down and a large number of items exploded. Yuchen's eyes widened and he looked around. When he saw a black leather skill book, his heart couldn't help but jump. When I picked it up and took a look, I was immediately ecstatic. Bloody Blade, rare skill instant cast, turning the dagger into a bloody blade, damage add 10%, added blood-sucking ability after hitting the target, 10% of the damage generated will be recovered, duration 60 seconds, cooling time 100 seconds. Note, this skill is suitable for thieves and cannot be upgraded. In ecstasy, Yuchen studied directly, but who knew the radio would explode? Bayun City broadcast, congratulations to player Yeshen for completing the only hidden mission Bloodlight Blade, gaining 5 million experience points, 5 gold coins, and the title Bloodlight Blade *1. Holy crap, this is okay. Yeshen was shocked. He just learned a skill, but it actually directly triggered the only hidden mission, and a broadcast went off. It's Yadashin again, Zhendiao, special broadcast user. Beat the front row and worship the great god. I have lost count of the broadcasts triggered by Master yet. 6,666. For a time, the players in Bayun City were all shocked, and they were astonished to Yechen. On the other side, Yechen looked at the attributes of the new title with a smile. Bloody Blade, purple quality. Level 1. Freya left a message, when the enemy sees my bloody blade, they will flee. Fart has no effect, is it also purple quality? Yechen twitched the corner of his mouth, put away the title painfully, and then turned on the Bloodlight Blade buff. In an instant, the red flame dagger was covered with a layer of bloodlight, and then the bloodlight extended and turned into a knife. The Bloodlight sword is actually the Bloodlight Blade. The blade is about a yard long, which makes Yuchen's hands longer, at least when it comes to normal attacks and cuts, he has an advantage. Of course, this is nothing. What is important is the additional 10% damage and the blood-sucking special effects. Yakama, thank you for helping me get my revenge. In the wine jar, Jesse thanked you excitedly, and then said, I will keep my promise and give you my proud skills. After finishing speaking, the radio blasted. Bayun City broadcast, congratulations to player Yeshen for completing the only hidden mission Jesse's wrongful affair, gaining 8 million experience points, 10 gold coins, and the skill Shadow Sting *1. The broadcast rang again, and 3 more times, causing the players in Bayun City to panic a bit. The only hidden mission is so easy to do? Yeshen did 2 in a row within 1 minute. If Dream World was still a computer keyboard online game, I would suspect that Yeshen was cheating. Funny, Yeshen is really powerful, you know nothing. 6,666. Yeshen is so awesome, he created a guild, I must work hard to join. You. Forget it, Yeshen's guild, even the peripheral players have tens of thousands, it won't be our turn. Then let's create our own guild, called the Yeshen Legion. This is okay, it's more practical. For a while, countless players in Bayun City were stunned, and their admiration for Yeshen had reached the point of worship. What's more, some even threatened to create the Yeshen Legion and prepare to fight for Yeshen. On the other side, Yeshen was completely unaware of the commotion he had caused, and was checking his new skills. Shadowthorn, rare skill passive skill, triggered when using normal attacks in stealth mode, damage add 30%, if the target is killed, the attack judgment is cancelled. Cooldown time, 5 seconds. Note, this skill cannot be upgraded. Tisk tisk, this is awesome, Yeshen was ecstatic and couldn't help laughing out loud. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 220. After possessing the Shadowthorn, he can kill people in stealth and will not emerge from stealth. This is extremely terrifying. And the cooldown is only 5 seconds, which is simply against the sky. Of course, this skill also depends on the person, and the effect can only be triggered by a normal attack. Although the damage is increased by 30%, ordinary thieves can't kill in seconds, but Yeshen can do it easily. The grudges of the world are over, and my unique skills will also be passed down to the world. Yeshen, I don't have any memories anymore, let me go. Jesse sighed for a while, and finally looked at Freya's body, shook his head, and said to Yeshen. Yeshen nodded after hearing this, walked over and took the wine jar from Xiao Hong, and then opened the lid. The next moment, Jesse's soul turned into countless green starlight and rose straight into the sky. With a click, the wine jar broke. This thing is a disposable item. Google searched can. Then, the colorful space collapsed, and Yeshen returned to Freya's bathroom, with Freya's body at his feet. Dear, are you ready? I can't wait, if not, we can take a shower together. The berserker's impatient voice sounded outside the door. Yeshen raised his lips. The assassination was over and the mission was completed. He didn't need to stay any longer and used the teleportation stone to leave Longyang City. As a city like a fortress of the Light Camp, Longyang City is almost the largest and most luxurious main city of the Light Camp. In the previous life, Dream World has been running for 4 years, and the popularity of this main city has not decreased. Countless high-level players will set up stalls here, and there are even school-level officers riding majestic mounts in the city. That's right, after the player reaches level 30, the riding function is enabled. But ordinary players are not allowed to ride in the main city, unless they are officers at the school level or above. Outside Longyang City, the end of the north is the Death Forest. Crossing the forest, you can reach the Dark Camp. Without deliberately taking a detour, you will reach the enemy's fortress, Dark City. The fortresses of both sides are the only entrances to the Death Forest and the only entrances to the enemy camp. Because of this, Longyang City and Dark City are always the two most popular cities in the Chinese war zone, and no one can surpass them. Yeshen, dressed in black clothes, stepped into Longyang City and found the mercenary guild with ease. Spend a silver coin and register as a glorious warrior. System, you become a mercenary of the Light Camp. Rank, low-level soldier. Yeshen sweated a little and opened the mercenary system. There are very few columns opened for low-level soldiers, many of which are dark colors, indicating that they are not opened. Only after becoming an officer will other functions be opened one after another. The higher the officer level, the more functions are opened. For example, Commander, recruit NPC subordinates, ride in the main city, receive exclusive rewards, etc. Military rank division, low-level soldiers, intermediate soldiers, senior soldiers, second lieutenant, lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, major general, lieutenant general, general, marshal. To upgrade the military rank, each level needs to meet different merit points. For example, Yechen is now a low-level soldier. If he wants to upgrade to a mid-level soldier, it is very simple. Just meet 100 merit points. There are many ways to obtain merit, but all of them are related to killing enemies on the battlefield. Every time you kill a player in the enemy camp, you will be rewarded with a merit point. If the enemy is an officer, there will be more merit bonuses. Of course, there are faster and more, for example, capture the enemy city. Even if it is just a small village, it is at least 1000 merit points. A small town, at least 2000 merit points. As for capturing the main city, I don't know, because even in the previous life, Dream World has been running for 4 years, no one has been able to capture even any main city. In the previous life, the first God-level player who was promoted to level 100 tried to capture the enemy's main city, killing thousands of troops and killing many sanctuary NPCs, but in the end he was killed by a large number of enemy troops. The later it is, the more difficult it is, because there are God-level players in your camp, and there are also in my camp. It is impossible for everyone to just leave their main city to be captured. This is impossible. But it is conceivable that if you capture a main city at random, the merit you get must be an unimaginable astronomical figure. The previous life is the previous life, and this life is this life. Everything is reshuffled. As long as one side has an unmatched advantage over the other, even if it is to capture the main city, nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. After registering as a mercenary, Yechen left the city and headed towards the Death Forest at the end of the north. System, you have discovered the Death Forest, recognition at 30. As the system prompt sounded in his ears, Yechen came to a gloomy forest, dark, damp, and full of blood. In the distance, there are many small pits filled with blood. Next to the small pits, huge black wolves occasionally appear and lick the blood. Bloodthirsty Demon Wolf, Elite/Warcraft. Level 30. HP, / Skills, Bite, Charge, Claws, Blood Eyes. Remarks, Warcraft bred by the Death Forest. The Death Forest is also a huge wild area, with monsters from level 30 to 99. In addition to ordinary monsters, there are also magic beasts of different levels and grades. For monsters and magic beasts of the same level and grade, magic beasts are at least 3 to 5 times stronger than monsters. The magic beasts are extremely ferocious, and of course, after killing them, the experience and other rewards will be more generous. The magic beasts will also explode magic weapons and magic crystals. Magic weapons are equipment, and magic crystals are materials, both of which are very expensive. Oh, I'm lucky. I didn't expect that I would encounter a magic beast just after I came to the Death Forest. Yechen stared at the big black wolf greedily licking the blood in front of him, smiled slightly, and sneaked out. There is no doubt that even in the Death Forest, the number of magic beasts is extremely rare. Anyone is the object of crazy competition among players. Yechen just sneaked out, and there was a sound next to him, and then a multi-arrow hit the head of the bloodthirsty magic wolf, -820. Ah! The bloodthirsty magic wolf was attacked for no reason, and immediately roared angrily. The originally red eye suddenly appeared a layer of scarlet, which was a blood-colored eye. It looked around, and before locking on Yechen, it found the enemy first, and suddenly rushed towards a bush next to it. "I've been discovered, shield warrior, hold on." There was a roar in the bush, and an orc shield warrior strode out, raised the giant shield and slapped the bloodthirsty magic wolf on the head. Shield strike. The bloodthirsty wolf was blasted back 2 yards, with a circle of stars spinning above its head, and it was stunned. Then, all the people hiding in the bushes stood up, and they were all ranged professions, and began to attack the bloodthirsty wolf remotely. The shield warrior was good, and the hatred was very stable, and he could withstand the attack of the bloodthirsty wolf. Not long after, the bloodthirsty wolf was killed by this small team. With a hissing sound, a diamond-shaped, table tennis-sized crystal object rolled out from the side of the wolf's body.